Welcome to All the Way Alive. This is a space for the real, the raw, the unfiltered experience of being human. I'm Carolyn, and I'm most definitely not here as a teacher or an expert. I am a fellow traveler fumbling my way through the mess and the magic of life with you. This isn't the bullshit of self-help. It's not about becoming better or fixing anything. This is about truth. It's about risk. It's about letting yourself be seen all the way through. It's about the initiations we go through in love, the ache of purpose, the wild vision, the grief, the ecstasy, the fear, all of it. Here we explore what it means to be all the way alive, to feel, to fall, to fuck it up, to try again, to listen to your body, to mine your own wisdom. There's no finish line, just this moment, just this breath, just this one wild, precious life. Let's go there. Welcome to this podcast episode that I'm going to call Taking Love Out of Its Boxes. And just even the concept of this topic has felt quite a bit unsettling and challenging for me to even begin to speak to. But then I listened to this really beautiful offering, this talk transmission from Zach Bush. And I also listened to another topic, a podcast by Michael Singer, that really helped to illuminate like what this actually means. So that title, Taking Love Out of Its Boxes, came from Zach Bush. And that's what he spoke to, is like how excited he is to start to take love out of its box or out of its boxes. You know, we have these ideas of like the way that love needs to exist in our life, whether it's with an intimate partner or, you know, like, and that's the box of like this partnership, or perhaps it's like we need to limit it and keep it in this box of religion, or we need to really kind of close it into just like this small family unit or a couple of friends, or, you know, whatever that might be, or like one purpose, one path. And he started to speak to like this idea of like, what if we remove the box? We open the lid, we let love out, we let love be, right? And I'm going to go even deeper than that to how I understand love, you know, in my own initiations in love. Like, what does that mean to me? And in its truest form, love is the actuality, you know, the energy, the truth of who we are in our essence. It's like the sea that we swim in. And our greatest forgetting is that we are somehow separate from it. That is genuinely the greatest pain of this human life, is the forgetting of who we are in actuality, in essence, which is simply love. And so because we forget that, we think we're separate from it, right? We think that it exists somewhere out there. I have to get it. And then I have to put it in this box, because if I don't contain it and keep it close and safe and, you know, limited in this way, it's going to leave me. I'm going to lose it somehow. Yeah, and I've made so many decisions in my life, so many choices, so many fears have been based on and rooted in this fear, in this worry that I held that I would lose love, that I needed to get it, to contain it, to keep it safe, to keep me safe, so that I would be okay. And God forbid, I imagine opening that and allowing love to flow through me or come to me or exist in me in any way that wasn't familiar or, kind of culturally accepted in a lot of ways. These boxes aren't something that we just construct of our own making. They're often given to us. They're like, hey, this is how you can get love. It's a cultural thing. It's a collective unconscious. Like, you can get it by finding an intimate partnership. You can get it by, being an integral member of the community. You can get it by being a good girl, a good boy, a good person. Whatever it is, you can get it by being successful. So it's all of these like little boxes that we put it in, and then try to hold it tight. Yeah. And I was having this conversation with Matt the other day, my partner. And, it's interesting because, oh man, I'm wondering how personal to get here. Yeah, I'm really in the curiosity, the wondering of like, how do we hold love gently? How do we hold it without trying to make love stay? I'm going to come back to that conversation. So there's this really beautiful book called Still Life with Woodpecker. Oh man, it's so good. It's like about exiled princesses and cheerleaders, pregnant cheerleaders, and one of the fundamental questions of it is like how to make love stay. And I just it's like, yeah, it's just magical. I wish that I had the synopsis to read it to you, because it's like, it's fucking magic. So if you got a chance, definitely listen to that or read it. Listening to it is my favorite way of reading. Okay, coming back to that conversation with Matt. And I don't think it was really a conversation. It was more of a one-way dialogue where I just like shared what I believe about this and like what I've really come to understand in a deeper way, which is that, the expression of love is this really interesting experience, really, of sharing something that we already are, right? So if we express love for a person, we're like, oh, I love you. There's this inherent separation when we say that. And I'm not calling this bad or wrong or like anything. And I want to hear it all of the time. Like, give me all the I love yous, like all of my friends, like my partnership. Like, I want to hear it all of the fucking time. So like, don't just stop doing it. But as soon as we start to say that, as soon as we say, I love you, inherent in that statement is separation. There is a now, an I, and a you. And we've forgotten that in essence, we are the same. That we are both love. Like, that is our essence. That is who we are in actuality. And so to bring it outside of us and to speak it to another person is basically putting it into that box and putting it into that context. So you can think of boxes as contexts as well. And this is where it starts to get really unique and challenging, because if we're holding this belief that we need to keep love in these boxes in order to be safe, to be accepted, to be, functional members of society, whatever the fuck that means, like, if we believe that that's true and that's what we need to do, then we're going to continue to perpetuate this separation, this understanding that love is somehow outside of us, that it's something we can give and something we can receive. And one of the most beautiful lessons and learnings that I received in an incredibly embodied way from the practices of Tantra is like this deep understanding and reverence for love as like not a product of somebody out there or something we can even give, but rather like our inbuilt, inherent essence. And anytime we choose, we can open ourselves more fully to it. So I did this, like, I'm sure I've shared this in another podcast, so this is probably on repeat, but it bears repeating. I did this beautiful practice where we like inhaled to open to universal love and then exhaled to receive it. And it's just this really simple embodiment practice of remembering our essence as love, like feeling the physicality of that, the embodied experience of that. And then here's where it gets really cool. So in a dyad, in a partnership with another person, we sat across from them and then did it again. So like the first time I did it, it was just by myself. And we did that for like 10 minutes. So you really get into the embodied sense of it. And then the second component of it was you sit across from another person, you do that again, and you're witnessing them. So you've got your eyes open, but here's the secret, here's the key. You're not giving or receiving, right? We're both in our own experiences of this. And because of that, we don't need to give or take, right? There's no need to draw from the other person or give to the other person. So it's a better, in my opinion, or a more complete understanding of what love actually is. And how beautiful then when we can witness each other in it. So this is what I imagine the truth of liberated love to be, is to be in the fullest expression, experience, and understanding of ourselves as love, without needing to separate it, without needing to put it into these boxes in order for us to feel safe, accepted, valued, right? And so, yeah, this is a really beautiful practice. And another way you can do this, if you want to try it for yourself, is so you can do that that practice of opening your arms to breathe in to universal love, exhaling, receiving. And then the second part, instead of sitting across from another person, you could sit in front of the mirror and do this with yourself. And then just witness, be in the experience of it, gaze upon yourself, understand. And you could even picture yourself as like your inner child, your younger self, another version of you, however you want to look at it. It's a really powerful and potent practice. And I've returned to it often since that first time that I did it. Yeah. And so Michael Singer speaks to this concept of like, when we say, I love you, we're signaling the end of love, essentially, is how he put it. And that's what he means, is that we've now taken it outside of who we are. We've created separation simply in the statement, right? When there's an I and a you. And it creates this really interesting and odd sense of like protectiveness. We want to keep it safe. But in essence, when we do that, we also constrain it. We keep it stuck. We keep it in this like tight box. It's a funny way to put it. my 13-year-old boy brain just came online there for a moment. Okay. So if we imagine then what could be possible if we start to take love out of its box, out of all of these boxes, like what is possible? And I get the fears that come up. Like, then what's the point in having an intimate partnership? What is the point in making anything special or sacred or important, right? We get into this like strange little bit of mindfuckery around okay, then like, does anything matter? But of course, like imagine moving from a state of like meeting each other in our wounds, in the places that block love, and I'll come back to that in a moment, into a space of liberated love, where you're engaging in a way that's more playful, right? It's not the giving or receiving of love in the same way as we've come to believe it needs to be, but rather the witnessing of it. So imagine the invitation in that. When we can really invite love in that way, what is possible is like, it's incredible. Like there's no limits to it. When we're with another person, all we want for them is like the highest, the truest, the most magical and incredible expression of their essence to come through. You know, we don't need them to stay the same. We don't need them to stay safe for us. We genuinely, truly want the best for them, whatever that might be, whatever their path is asking them for. And when we do that, we want the same for ourselves also. And so in choosing to embody, to remember love in this way, we've essentially liberated it. And of course, we're human and we're going to have these challenges of like wanting to make love stay. But really, can we control that? Is that something we can actually control, or is that an illusion? And so I said I wanted to come back to something, and so let's chat about that. And yeah, this is the part that I was like, I don't know if I really want to talk about this kind of stuff, but I'm going to because I'm in it and it's beautiful. So in my partnerships in the past, when it comes to like intimate partnerships, what I've noticed is that in so many cases, in so many situations, I've like been grasping for love, afraid that if I'm not who I think they want me to be, or doing the things that might make love stay, that it will leave me, that I won't be worthy of love. And so essentially what I'm doing is I'm meeting the other person at the level of my wounding, right? That's not actually me being in the fullest embodied expression and experience of love at all. It's like me playing at it. It's me playing at love, pretending that whatever it is that this like bullshit is that we're trying to work out on each other is enough. Like that's going to satisfy that ache that exists within us when we're separated from love, or we're seemingly separated. We've forgotten. The ache of forgetting is fucking real. And man, I'm swearing a lot in this one. Sorry for anybody who like would prefer that not to be so, and it just is what it is in this space. So we meet each other at the level of our wounding until we really do start to see that we don't need to search for it. We don't need to keep it in these little boxes. That really who we are is this full expression of love. And when we can meet each other in that new way, in that liberated way, like it's a totally different experience. It's like the simplicity of moving from codependency to interdependency, right? We're no longer like, okay, you have to fix me. You have to fill like this part of me that feels empty. And I have to do the same for you. I have to fix you. I have to like help you with this thing. It instead becomes this like really beautiful, vibrant opportunity for mutual co-creation. And that's really where the magic of purpose and mission and vision starts to come into like full form. It's no longer just this like thing in the distance that we're hoping for, that we're wishing for, dreaming about. That's when it becomes embodied. That's when it really becomes, something that's greater than us. It's like we move back into the flow, the ocean, the river of love, and we allow it to take us. And that is like, when we can soften into that, like we've all touched that space. I know we have. Not even if it was just like as a young child, I know we've touched it. We know it. It's like it's inbuilt. It's a part of our DNA. It is so inherent in who we are, which is why anything that we do that is not that will inevitably fail, because it will collapse upon itself, right? We just will keep working in a direction until we're like, no, that's not it. And then we'll need to eventually leave it. Sometimes we stick to that path, that way, for a lot longer than is healthy or good for us. And that's definitely been one of my habit energies, is like something's painful. I'm like, well, I'll just keep going, and let's see how long I can hold this pain for. Yeah, hoping that something will change, that somebody will change, that things will get better, whatever that means. Forgetting that really it's up to me. It's up to me to tell the truth. It's up to me to remember. And it needs nothing more or nothing less than that, right? Like truth and remembering. Yeah. And those pieces that I was sharing before that felt a little bit uncomfortable is just like how often I've met, my current partner, previous partners in those spaces of wounding. And here's something really fucking cool. I just think this is so neat. So, when we meet somebody and we're like, wow, like that person, like I love that person, or like I'm so excited, and you almost like have these like romances, or like you go in deep in terms of like the experience of love. So what they've done is they've opened this portal of love within you, and they've touched that space, and sometimes we'll shame ourselves or judge ourselves for that. Other times, like when we're available for it, we're like all in. And I was just chatting with a friend this morning about this. And sometimes what happens is we like completely remove ourselves from other parts of our lives, thinking like, wow, I found it. Like I found the person, I found the thing. But like, what if that person or that thing is just showing us where our block was? Our block to the fullest expression and experience of love. And maybe that's an invitation to go deeper into that. I'm not saying not to like engage in that way with that person, but rather to think that they are the source is the problem. To put love into that box, that one channel of love that is now moving through us. Like that's not going to work. That's going to eventually implode, especially when that person changes, right? Or we evolve. It's no longer going to fit in that box in the same way. And so what I believe to be true is like when we meet somebody and that experience of love starts to like come up in us, we're like, wow, I forgot what this feels like, this aliveness, this excitement, this life, this creation moving through me. This energy, this Shakti. If you've forgotten that and you start to remember it with a certain person or in a certain experience, like they're offering you a beautiful gift to show you where you were previously blocked. And now here's the key. Don't assume that they are the ones who are going to keep you unblocked. You need to take that piece of information and embody it, right? To go, okay, like that's the invitation, that's the doorway in to liberated love, to being in an experience of like the embodied, not even embodied, but the remembering of that love. feel like that's a bit of a convoluted concept. I'm wondering how else I could possibly describe it or like invite you in. Yeah. So those wonderful flows of energy that start to happen with a person or an experience, right? Like you can almost feel like an aliveness start to come up into the body. That is the doorway, right? That's the path, that's the channel to liberated love. And the danger or the risk is if we tie that to that person, tie that to that circumstance only, we're missing the invitation. We're actually missing the point. And so the invitation is to go deeper into that, to inquire into that. Like, where did that block come from? Why was it there? How do I hold this open? How do I hold this? So this is inviting me in, right, to the liberated aspect of whatever that block was. This is pointing to where the block was. Like, how do I unwind that? How do I remove the block permanently, not just temporarily, right? It's like a dam, a dam like that just like all of a sudden opens. There's this huge flood of energy that moves through the body in these new and unique ways. But what if there were no blocks? What if there were no dams? What if we didn't require or need a person or a circumstance or an experience to have and be in the fullest expression of love? What if we simply remembered? What if we took love out of all of the boxes and then we just allowed ourselves to be in the sea of love, right? What if? And this is my greatest imagining. And I've had experience of it like in moments where like I am just so fully in it. And again, I genuinely believe that you know it also. But I've been in those experiences, so I know they exist and I know it's possible from that space. That's where true creation, true creativity comes from. That's what I believe will heal this planet. That's what I believe will and not even believe, but like feel in my bones is what's needed for us to move into the next expression of what it means to be human. Not in separation, not in contrast to, not in I and you, but in us, in we, in the collective. And this is where I really believe we move into a space of like dreaming a new future together, a new possibility, a new vision, a new reality. Oh, and I just had this beautiful talk with my dear friend Orist. Was it yesterday? 2 days ago now, I believe. And we were talking about, it was just yesterday. Oh my goodness. We were talking about his vision. And, I can tell, like, one of my medicines is I'm an initiator. Like, I help to bring out, like, the vision within somebody. And I can tell when we're, like, kind of playing small in that. Like, oh, yeah, I'm good at this. I do this. I've learned how to do this. These are my skills. But, like, when you touch into the vision, the spark, the fire, holy shit, like that is what I'm here for. That's what it means to take love out of its boxes. What if there weren't the blocks in the way? That's when we start to imagine a new future, a new possibility, a new reality. And the beautiful thing about that is the moment we've like truly envisioned it and embodied it and know that it's here, it's like it's already set into motion. Yeah. And so what Orist was speaking to was this dream, this visioning process of like what could be possible for people who have traditionally, or not traditionally, but like systematically been marginalized and taught that they aren't worthy or deserving of true abundance and like a full experience of what it means to be human in a free way. Yeah. And so that's what I genuinely believe is possible. is like when we can really start to take love out of its boxes, when we can recognize that the blocks to love, those temporary moments of like experience of love in those unique ways with people or circumstances or situations, are opportunities for removing more blocks. When we can be in that fullest expression, like nothing is outside of the realm of possibility. And because nothing is outside of the realm of possibility, we can genuinely hold each other with a grace and compassion and kindness that we all just like crave. Right? And this is what creates the ripple. This is what creates the vibrational resonance that's needed to shift things, to move us out of states of fear, move us out of states of violence and inner conflict and outer conflict and separation. Yeah. And so may we all look at where we've placed love in boxes. And may we start to notice when we're being invited deeper in. And being honest, like, is this the place for me? Is this true for me? Am I holding on too tightly? And can love actually leave? Yeah, that question of how to make love stay. You can't. Like, it's already here. It already exists. I think the better question is, how can you remember? Yeah. All right. That's it. That's it for this episode. This one felt like a meander, like a playful walk through the woods for me. If you've stayed through this episode, I so appreciate you spending the time with me and being willing to listen. I'm always open to feedback, and feedback in by way of like continuing a conversation. I know I move around a lot. I know my sound quality and my lighting isn't fantastic. I'll work on that. But I would love the conversation. Yeah, sending you so much love. Let's change that. Remembering so much love and offering you many blessings.